questions, as are my partners, Suzanne and Betty. All of us are very knowledgeable about health. And then we're going to eat, and I will just give you a brief just to whet your appetite. How many in here like egg rolls? Raise your hand if you like egg rolls. Okay, almost everybody. How many of you know egg rolls are not healthy at all? Bad fat, all kinds of things you really don't want. So today, you're going to get to sample these sandwiches. They are all organic, and the filling is all egg rolls. But instead of you being fried, I've wrapped them in spinach wraps. They are so good, and they are incredibly healthy. So you have that. We have a wonderful fruit salad for you, some watermelon. How many of you just like chips, pretzels, something salty, something crunchy? It's my downfall. And so I'm going to be talking about some food at the end of the talk. Oh my gosh, Sam's, can't live without them. Gluten-free, quinoa. They have all kinds of, and flax seeds and chia seeds in them. So I know they may not go with everything, but help yourself and just try them. They're very inexpensive, and they are delicious. I have no desire for any chips whatsoever. So I thought that would be fun, and then I'm gonna go over some other things too. So let's get started. Most of you probably have at least a little bit of knowledge of inflammation. And in the last 10 years, especially the last 5, the medical community is finally getting with the program. Because we've been told for years, unfortunately, and years, that, yeah, your diet's fine, you know, just kind of eat, you know, just eat healthy. What does that mean? It means nothing. How many of you know that in medical school there is almost, because it's recorded, I won't tell you how much, but there's very little study of nutrition at all. Now, that would be like you going to your car repair person and he's never studied how your carburetor works in your engine. Nutrition is everything. It has everythh to do with disease. And here's the thing I want you to remember, if you remember nothing else today. 85% of all chronic disease can be prevented. Have you ever heard that before? 85%. That's what research shows. And nutrition is number 1. So the first one we did, of course, was stress, which is huge. Sleep, which we did last month, and now we're doing inflammation. So out of 10 people that are here, 8 of you right now sitting here have enough inflammation to create a chronic disease, an autoimmune disease. And some of you already may have 1, or you may have 2.
Question, does exercise help?
We're gonna go into all of that, yeah. And afterwards I'll answer your questions. I love to answer questions, but if I do, oh my gosh, I do get off on some row way far away. So that's why I'm gonna just read the notes so I can get through and we can get into fun stuff. So inflammation, first of all, you have to understand there's 2 sections of inflammation. So the first one we're all aware of. Oh my gosh, you cut yourself as you're cooking with your knife. What immediately happens, right? So you know, it's your response to any illness, any injury. You might get a fever if it's a virus, bacteria. You might swell, right? If you cut yourself, you know you get red. Sometimes it'll get puffy. It'll swell. And that is what's called acute inflammation. And that's really important. Now, I will tell you, normally I won't do handouts till the end because then you'll sit and read them and you pay no attention. But I will give you handouts, and I have pens. Is there anybody who's a note taker that wants to take notes? Would you hand them out? All I ask is turn it over to the blank on the back. Just don't read it yet. Can you do that? Okay, so if you want one, I have pens and I have the handouts and you can make notes. So you need to know acute is great. Our Creator gave us this incredible tool of inflammation. So what actually, to keep us safe, because if we get injured, if we get a disease or a toxic chemical or whatever, your body must fix it immediately. It's a normal part of our process. So So that's the good part of inflammation. We need to heal quickly. But the inflammation we're gonna spend time on today is called chronic inflammation. And that's the real issue that we're gonna really delve into. We're gonna go into it in some real detail. If there's one thing, as I said earlier, that the medical world is now actually adopting, it is the concept that yes, inflammation does cause 85% of all chronic diseases. And I used to get very frustrated years ago because I would hear a doctor say, well, you have an autoimmune disease, and you're like, well, what causes that? Well, we're not sure. I'm sorry. It is very crystal clear what causes the majority of autoimmune diseases, and it's called inflammation. Now, some of you are older, you can relate to this. I want you to tell me, think back 20 years. I know some of us like to think back further. Think back just 20 years ago. How many people did you know that had autoimmune diseases? Did you know a lot of people who had MS? Did you know a lot of people who had ALS, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, diabetes, lupus? I could go on and on and on. There are over 150 autoimmune diseases. So it's extremely important that you really understand that you actually have control over your health. And that's the one thing none of us have been taught at all. Think about that. What are we all taught? If you get ill, if you get sick, what do?
Go to the doctor.
Yeah, you'll have symptoms first. What if we could reverse all of that, which you can? We can reverse that by starting today to change our environment. And it's really, really powerful. I won't go into it, but in the beginning of the year, I'm going to be doing probably a series of 3 on Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And the reason I'm going to do that is because almost 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with first stage Alzheimer's, mild cognitive impairment. And of course, my mother had it for 9 years, my father had it, I took care of my mother, and I started researching years ago. And so when they tell you, oh, there's nothing you can do about it, with medicine, that is accurate.
Yeah.
That is correct. But I'm here to tell you today, for the last 7, maybe almost 8 years, my brain scan's completely clear. And after I finish today, you're gonna realize, no, she probably really doesn't. Still have Alzheimer's. Do I ever forget anything? Yes, that can happen. It happens when you get older, but I'm here to tell you, you can backtrack things that have happened to you. I've seen it, I know it, and I've seen it personally. So we're gonna be talking about chronic inflammation. And this is the issue. So I'm going to not present it in a medical forum because a lot of you may not have the science background that I have, and I don't want you to get confused. So I want you to just think about this as a military war. Are you all okay with that? I mean, you don't have to like military, you don't have to like war, but it will make sense to you. So what happens is when you have, let's say you're acute, it can happen with acute, but when you start to get inflammation, what happens is these proteins called cytokines. I want you to think of them as military leaders, okay? So cytokines are proteins, and what they do is they give orders to all of your body. There's cytokines in like every cell, almost every cell of your body, and they actually give orders. There's a virus here. There's a germ. Something is wrong, and they have to attack it, and they have to get rid of it, and they have to heal it. And if they don't, you are in so much trouble. Now we know that with the acute. That's the simple things, a little cut, right? Just so some of you may have some of this virus that's going around, you know, with colds and upper respiratories. And immediately, your inflammation is immediately going up. And that's a good thing because the military leaders are saying, okay, we got to get out the first responders. We got to get out the men on the ground, and we got to get rid of this right away before it gets worse. Does that make sense? So immediately, they're sending out the first responders, and what is the job of those first responders? The job is to create inflammation. Put out the fire. Kill the germ, kill the bacteria, kill what's going on so the body can heal. Now we know from little stuff, when you cut yourself, do you swell? A lot of times you'll get puffy, right? You get red, you'll get tender, you can even get pain. It's all that inflammation coming in to attack any foreign subject in your body that should not be there. Do you see how well I'm using my notes? Not at all. So I'm watching my clock to make sure I just don't go way off. Now, this is what happens. If you've been at war for a long time, and we're going to get into what causes inflammation, but that you can control. But if your body has been with a lot of inflammation for a long time, it becomes chronic. Now, because we are a military family, I really understand this pretty well. If you've been fighting a war in your body for 5 years or 10 years because you love McDonald's and you've been eating fried food and you don't exercise and you don't sleep and you don't control your stress and you're using toxic chemicals in your house, all of these things that affect it, this inflammation, they can only do so much. And I'm telling you, this is where you end up with a cytokine storm. You now have a real issue because once they know what their job is, but if they start to get disoriented, which they do and can happen often because there's so much inflammation, where do you fight? You're fighting it in the gut, you're fighting it in the head, you're fighting it, all these different places in your body. And now these cytokines get disordered, they get dysfunctional, and they start shooting at everything, including healthy tissue. That's called autoimmune disease. And if any of you had it, you've probably been told, oh my gosh, an autoimmune disease, what does it actually do to your body? It attacks your healthy tissue. It can't tell the difference between the bad guys and the good guys, or the good cells and the bad cells. Does that make sense? And it's a real problem. And here's the kicker. Once you get an autoimmune disease, you are now very susceptible to get another one. It's not uncommon for people to have not just one, not just two, but sometimes 3. And you're going to watch and see that health absolutely go down and down and down. I have eliminated so much stuff. So let's see where I am. This is what happens when people never use notes. Look at this. I'm really making through here pretty fast, aren't I? We have more time to eat. I saw that. I was looking down, but I'm a mother, and I can see out of the corner of my eyes.
I did it for you.
So I'm trying to keep it simple because the science of this is obviously way more complicated. But if you can actually learn to control your inflammation by just the things that you do, you can lower your risk significantly. That is something I have really worked on. So we're going to talk about what actually causes inflammation to just keep going on and on and on. And I'm going to have you shortly turn over your page and you're going to see a lot of the things that you may find that you're doing. But the number one is your diet. And I'm going to be really honest with you, a lot of it's not your fault. We are so misled. When the government tries to control what is good for you and what is not good for you, may not necessarily be good for you. And I'm probably not shocking any of you if I tell you that the food interest is really not concerned about your health. I don't care what they say, they are not. Do you know that we spend more money on health care than any nation in the world?
Yeah.
Do you know how down we are with disease? We're just talking the top, we're just talking economic countries. We're not talking the poverty countries, okay? We're gonna eliminate that because that would not be fair. Number 12, are you kidding me? We take more drugs than anyone in the world, 3 to 5 times more drugs. and we're number 12 for health. I don't know if you know this. Are you aware that this generation that is born right now, 20 and under, do you know they have a lower lifespan than any of us? It's not going up, people. It went up in my generation. It's not going up, it went down. Lifespan is decreasing. How many of you have just kind of ever observed, if you're a teacher, you really observe it. Have you ever looked around at the children in grade school? Have you ever looked at the obesity in children? I don't know about you, I'm gonna be 79 my next birthday, but I only remember 2 kids in a class of about 30, because this is after World War II, so everybody was coming home and making babies, so we had big classes. Out of 30, I don't ever remember, and I have a pretty good memory, of kids in my class. Maybe you had one, what we call fat child in a class. Maybe a second one overweight. I'm telling you, all the rest of us were skinny and running all around the playground. Can anybody remember that? Even 20 years ago. Look at what the kids were just 20 years ago, and look today. Because for a lot of reasons, they're on too much screen time, they're not out playing, not running around, they're not eating the kind of food, they're eating what they see on television. In the class that we're gonna have in October, I'm gonna go into some real things that'll probably really shock you about the food industry and the mislabeling that is allowed to be done. And that's why I'm telling you, you don't sit there, I don't want you to feel guilty. I just want you to know the truth about food. What it may say on the label may not be quite what you think it is. So how many of you remember, I think it might have been, and I could be wrong about how long ago, but those of you, can you remember when do not eat eggs? Yes. Do not eat eggs. If you do, sparingly, right? Just no. And then what you really need to do is eat cereal. Everybody started going to cereal. And so you would see that they were donuts, biscuits, cereal. Now we didn't eat biscuits in the north, but we did eat rolls filled with jelly. So what happened? Everything completely changed. Who paid for the egg research?
Cereal companies.
No, not the pharmaceuticals.
Cereal companies.
Kellogg's. Yeah. Yeah, all the cereal.
Oh, that's when they said eat it for dinner. Instead of dinner, eat cereal, that's right.
The cereal industry. So one thing I really learned in my research is when I see a research, my very first thing I like to do, I want to know who has a dog in that fight. I learned that from being here in the South. I want to know who's making money on this research before I'm ever going to give it any credibility. Does that make sense? And they started to change everything about how we ate. Now, do you remember they started, I believe it was in the 80s. If I look at my notes, I could tell you accurately. Do you remember, don't eat fat?
Yeah.
No fat, no fat, do not eat fat. And so everybody started eating everything with no fat. Let me tell you something. If you do not eat great fat, you're gonna have a brain problem, and I can just about guarantee it. Your brain needs fat. It's the same thing with cholesterol. Oh my gosh, your cholesterol levels, they're so high. Oh, if you really get into the science and the research on that, you're gonna see it's a very, very different story than what you realize. Your body needs fat. Good fat, not margarine, which is one of the worst things that anyone can possibly eat. Not all these seed oils, which will increase your inflammation. You want to increase your inflammation? Just start cooking with cooking oil. Absolutely. You won't find it in my house, and it hasn't been in my house for 20 years. Way before the research came out and told us how deadly it is. Did you know that almost all processed foods use seed oils? Do you really think Kentucky Fried Chicken fries it in avocado oil? No. I'm not picking on Kentucky Fried Chicken. It tastes good, it's just it'll kill you. So you really need fat, but you need good fat. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that, a little bit about your food. So now that I have completely, let's see if I've missed anything. Oh, so let me tell you a couple of things I do to keep my inflammation down. That's a really big issue for me, and I want to know how much inflammation do I have in my body. Well, sometimes you do know. If you've got an autoimmune disease, sorry, it's there. If you've got a chronic disease, sorry, you do have inflammation. But I want to know exactly, as close as I humanly can, where my levels are. So every year I have, and you can write this down if you want, I have what's called I have two of them. Let me make sure I have the right one. Oh, I do the cytokine panel blood test. So that's CYTOKINE, cytokine panel blood test. And I also, and this is where when I do my regular blood, I don't go in for this separate. I do what's called a C, letter C, dash, reactive. That's REACTIVE, reactive protein. It's called a CRP. Your doctor will know if you just call it a CRP. So the CRP is just now my insurance pays for it because I know pretty much what to say to my practitioner to make sure it's covered with my insurance. I'm really concerned about my inflammation. I think it's becoming an issue for me, and I need a CRP test, and I get one, and my insurance pays for it. Not all insurance will pay for the cytokine panel blood test. So what they do, here's the difference. Your C-reactive protein test, what it does is it measures, as I said, general inflammation levels. And they rise literally in the liver during inflammation. So immediately, if I am at a high level, I know, okay, game over. I gotta stop playing this. I've gotta start playing a different game. And I have got to start addressing serious issues, because if I don't have a disease, I don't want one. Here's my only goal in life. My only goal in my health life, in my health journey. I only want my health to last as long as I do. Period. Think about that. I only want my health to last as long as I do. And for me, I'm in real trouble because my family hardly ever dies. My grandmother was 99, my grandfather 98, my great-grandmother 101, my other great-grandmother 102, my mother died young at 94, okay? So I have this, what has made me take action is I have created this mental image in my head. Do not laugh. I'm like right up front with you. My mental image is being in a nursing home and no one comes around and changes my depend for 3 hours. Now you all can laugh all you want, but if you've I've done a lot of church ministry in nursing homes, and I am not knocking them, and there is a need for them, and I understand. But let me tell you, you do not have control over your health. And they are so overworked, and they are so understaffed, and underpaid, and you can laugh all you want, but for me, it took me to create this mental image of me having to be in that situation and rely on someone else to take care of me. Now that may not work for you, but it just scared the crap out of me. And so that is what really turned around probably about 30 years ago, which is why I chose to take care of my mother. I did everything I could for my parents to keep them as healthy as I could. So that's a simple one to take. Now, your whole goal is that you want to create homeostasis in your body. You want your pro-inflammatory and your anti-inflammatories to be balanced. Okay, so what does that mean? So your pro-inflammatory is what promotes inflammation. That's a good thing if you need it. Does that make sense? So pro-inflammatory is a good thing. And anti-inflammatory is when those cytokines are sending those military leaders are sending all their responders saying, okay, no more, we don't need any more, no more inflammation, we got it taken care of, everything is fine, we've corrected the situation. Does that make sense? You gotta have a balance between those two. You need both. You need to have inflammation and you need to have those cytokines giving you directions to dampen it down because it's no longer needed. And that's what we're dealing with today. They're not dampening it down. They're just increasing it. And it's a little bit here, and we have one young person in here. Even young people are having major issues with inflammation. But add another 10 years to your life with the same lifestyle that you're doing. Add another 5. Add another 5. Can you see what an incredible issue we have? You know, we've always kind of been taught, well, you get old, you just can't remember things, you walk slower, you know, you're more susceptible to disease. All of those things are true, but we do have way more control over this than any of you probably have ever believed. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is a problem. Oh, I'm 68 or I'm 70, I mean, what chance do I have? God created your body in such magnificence that it was created to heal itself at any age. Now, if you've destroyed it, there does come a time, people, when the horse has left the barn and healing is just not there because there isn't enough in your body to make your body heal. Does that make sense? That there does come a time when it's there, but there are so many things that you absolutely can do. Diabetes, it is rampant. Type 2 diabetes, it is absolutely avoidable. Type 1 diabetes is a whole little different, you know, that usually occurs in childhood and that's a whole different category. But we're talking type 2 diabetes in children. It's unbelievable the amounts we're seeing. Where are they gonna be when they hit their 20s? Where are they gonna be when they start hitting 40? So, you turn your papers over, and I'm sorry, I sure thought, how many did not get a copy?
The last few that came in did not get a copy.
Okay, I will get them for you personally. But I need to borrow one of yours. Okay, I picked on her last time, so we'll share. Okay, so the best way is to fight inflammation. You can take this home with you. I apologize, we only had 10 RSVPs. I counted on 15. So I'm thrilled everybody is here, but Carolyn knows me really well and I'll make sure you and her guys have it.
He's making some copies for us.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you so much. Okay.
Question, how could you RSVP? I didn't see that anywhere.
Oh, it's on the flyer.
Oh, okay.
So if you
I
didn't see
was
the
very
flyer.
unobservant.
So where's the flyer?
Well, the flyer was in the library. It was posted. We sent flyers out to several different clubs
And the website.
or
for the
on the
library.
it was on the website. It was even, I think they do a radio thing. So the reason we do RSVP is because of the food. That's the issue. So it's extremely hard to know how much food. So we have enough only because I grew up with, if you run out of food, you actually could increase your risk to go to hell. It is possible. It's not biblical, but it is possible.
And we have plenty.
You have to have plenty. So I'm pretty sure I know we have enough for everyone to have one sandwich, and we do have lots of everything else for everybody else. That's the reason for the RSVP. It's just, and because I'm a widow and Betty's a widow and it's just the two of them, do we really want to have to eat fruit salad for a week?
No.
Right? And we don't believe in waste. So,
And if they leave their email, we will email
yes,
the next
yes,
week.
if, what we're trying to do, we never, of course, send your email to anyone. We do not harass you, but normally what we do, if you're interested in this, then what will happen is a month before we have this, you'll just get an email that will tell you what the subject is. So if you're interested or not, you'll be able to respond. And then usually a day or two ahead of time, you'll also, it's a text, usually It's an email, I think, the first one, but most of the time we try to do texts because a lot of people don't pay attention to emails. Just to remind you, and then 2 days ahead, that really helps us to know, food-wise, what to do. Does that make sense? And I encourage you, if you like what you hear, I really encourage you, please bring a friend with you, because we can't continue. And we did ask last time, and everybody said they loved having the food, right? Those of you who were here before, yeah, it's all healthy, super, super healthy.
Is there a list where we can leave our email?
Well, if you fill that out, we're gonna actually create a list. We realized we did not have everybody's, so we had no way of contacting some of the people that came before. And of course, we try to do it our goal is to do it on a Monday, lunch and learn with the,
Has everyone signed in?
No.
they can sign afterwards. If you haven't signed in, if you just sign in, it's for the library because they count them. Okay, so take a look at your list. Pretty simple. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it
Yeah, sure.
at all. They did.
It's a pretty, kind of a little outsider. That's okay.
It did not at all. I will talk with Spencer and make sure that's in there. Thank you. Because I don't get the paper, so
Yeah,
I really
it had the whole list of
We wouldn't have to
library.
do it if we didn't do food. But if you like the food, we do have to do the RSVP. Okay, your diet matters. You can all read, but this is the number one biggest issue at all. And then number two, it tells you cut back on inflammatory foods. Refined carbs, fried foods, sugary drinks, processed meat. Here's how I taught all of my children and grandchildren to shop. When you go into the grocery store, you have X amount of money, right? Okay, so if you have $100, you should, nobody can buy anything for $100, but just using that, if you have $100, 80 of it, 80 should be spent only on the perimeter of the grocery store.
Thank you.
If you are spending less than 80 or more than 80 on the perimeter, what does that mean? Milk, it's all your fresh, your vegetables, your fruit, your milk, your cheeses, your meat. So 80% of my budget is on the outer side of my store. I only get 20% on the whole rest of the store. So smart. If you have kids and grandkids, it's a great way to teach them. How about it? Number three, get moving. We all know that. You have to do it. Do something. Do you realize only 20 minutes a day? Science has showed 20 minutes a day makes a difference in inflammation and your health. Come on, 20%. Park at the back of Walmart. Huff it in. Huff it back. Whatever you have to do. Yeah, manage your stress. We're not going into that, but if any of you will contact any of us and you would like the handouts for the ones we did on stress and sleep, we would be happy to make sure you get those. We don't have them today, but if we have your info, we can get them to you. Number four, we taught stress, prayer, meditation, deep breathing. You've got to really handle your stress. Stress will take your inflammation sky high. So when my husband passed away in February, where do you think my stress level was? Right? So immediately, what did my body say? Ooh, you want sugar. You want anything sweet, anything salty. I crave carbs. So I really had to work to make sure my protein was actually higher for me, and then I got my crunch from something else because I knew immediately inflammation was going to really go up. Sleep, 7 to 9 hours, deep sleep. It's not an option. Absolutely not. Stay hydrated, for Pete's sakes. Spices make a great difference. Turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, garlic. By the way, all of those are in your sandwich. Limiting alcohol, and then 10 smaller portions of food.
Can I ask you a question about
Yes.
the omega-3?
Yes,
Why is that important?
it's huge. We always think of omega-3 for heart and for brain, but omega-3 actually has an ingredient in it that actually literally directly reduces inflammation. And if I go through here in my notes, it's in there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really good. And then I'll tell you some other things. Curcumin. I do curcumin when I cook, and one of the things I take that's the best antioxidant is resveratrol. And that is very, very, very powerful. So if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to ask. I want you to be able to eat. So very quickly, I'm gonna talk like a Yankee. The egg rolls over here, if you were not here and didn't hear, they're super healthy. They're in a spinach wrap. They have, they're all sauteed. They have, I probably should tell you, some of them, I don't know if I want to eat it. Do we have picky eaters in here, like really picky? Yeah, I see somebody roll their eye. So it has purple cabbage, green cabbage, carrots, small diced radishes, very small diced onions, ginger, minced ginger, and it has all this great stuff and a huge amount of fiber, and they're probably better than any egg roll you ever had. And instead of frying them, which they are not, and instead of putting that high carb coating on it, they're wrapped in a spinach wrap. Even though we probably only have one apiece for everybody, I've made enough for two with the RSVPs. You will be shocked at how much it will fill you. Great fiber, have great expectations for your bowels later in the day. That's all I can say. We have fruit salad. We have watermelon, which is wonderful fruit. If you're just dying for fruit, I go to watermelon because even though it does have, you think, well, the sugar's a little high. It's not the bad sugar, it's a better sugar, but it's great for hydration to your body when you just have to have something sweet and you want to get that extra water. These here don't necessarily go with everything, but I have to have crunch. I just can't give up my crunch. Sam's has them. You taste them, even if you think, a lot of them just don't taste. These are so doggone good. They're made with quinoa and flax seeds, chia seeds. They're gluten free, and just taste them to see. You don't have to say, I no longer crave chips.
What oil are they made with?
Yeah, what's the oil?
It is, let me go down here. It is the sunflower oil, but I did call them, and it is,
Cold press.
it is cold pressed. It is not heat pressed. That was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to find anything that's processed, but they do cold press, which was really good. You can look at anything on the back, that's why I brought it. We talked about oils real fast. Don't cheap out on your olive oil. This is the best price at Walmart and the very best oil you can buy. Yes, you can buy even some oils better, but for the money, this is by far your very best oil.
What brand is that?
I have it, take a picture of it with your phone. You can get it at Walmart. Walmart has the cheapest, it's cheaper than Amazon. Okay, so everything was sauteed at a lower temperature in olive oil. What I did is, I did use, I have a ginger sauce that I made, and for, I think it was 3 tablespoons is only maybe 2 grams of sugar. So it's so low that even if you're diabetic, unless you're severe diabetic, it's not gonna affect you at all because it's all, it's mixed in there. I did use, the only thing I used sea salt in there. I did use the spices, so there is some turmeric in there, a little curcumin is in there, but I do use the Chinese 5-spice. That's my favorite. So if you don't care, maybe it's a little spicy, it's not spicy hot, you might not like
Where
it.
do you get that?
You can get that, it's usually hard to find it at Walmart, but I can always get it at a Kroger's or Publix.
What are the 5 spices?
If you like to smell it, you can pass it around.
Oh, I just.
No,
thought
pass
you
it around
said-
and smell it.
Does it have MSG?
No, better not, because the last one I got didn't. No, I know, I don't do anything. No, it doesn't. So just take the lid off and smell it. It has a wonderful, I use it in all my Chinese and Merino food.
You
I
use
love it.
that for taste or?
Yeah, for taste. Yeah, but it has some good stuff in it.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pass it around and smell it. This is the best, if you cannot afford organic, this is the very best that you can get for vegetables and for your fruit. And most of us, a lot of people just cannot afford to buy all their fruit and vegetables organic. I've not come across anything that will remove all the wax and all the pesticides. It's easy, I spray it very, really nicely on everything, including even my berries, if I can't get my berries to be organic. And I spray it, and then I rinse 2 minutes, let it sit, And then if it's berries, of course, I use a very gentle spray, so you don't smash your berries, especially like raspberries and that kind of thing. So, I'm not sure if it's still sold in stores, but who's the gal? Oh, I thought that was mine, that's my room. Who's the gal that did all those hangers, and she does all that, she was QVC started?
Oh, Marie Como?
No, the famous one who has made it millions and millions of dollars. You know, she did all these very unusual things. I get it online, it's called Clean Boss. And this is Clean Boss. Take a picture of it, it's up here, you can take a picture of it. Best I ever saw.
Will that remove the wax for
Yes.
the women's?
Yes.
It will.
It turns when I did my broccoli, experimenting with it, it turned my broccoli green. I couldn't believe it. Changed the color.
What's the name? Excuse me.
It's called Clean Boss. Come up here, we'll have them right up here, you can take pictures of anything. And then I have, don't leave, I have a little gift for all of you, except for I probably don't. You may end up getting yours second. I brought way more than I thought. So if you'll pass these, green tea is wonderful to reduce inflammation. Now, most people go, so this one has ginger in it, but they also make one that's a mint. And if you just can't handle it, put a little honey in it. I use Manuka honey. It's the best honey you can possibly buy. Huge antiviral qualities in it. Most of the honey you get in this country, it's not honey. Sorry. It's not. They put a tiny bit in, and they don't have to tell you how much, and they use corn syrup. Especially if it comes from China, I won't buy anything from China. Be real careful, buy your honey local at a farm market. I buy mine from, Manuka's from New Zealand. So you each get a tea bag just to try, but this one has ginger, but you might like the mint. And then also, let me show you this. How many of you, because it's coming up with fall and winter, right? How many of you just want something maybe hot to drink, but you don't want another cup of coffee? The best sipping broth you ever put in your body, in a tea bag. Super healthy. Walmart, you can get it. It's absolutely delicious, and you each get one. Who did I just take this from? Thank you. Do we have enough for everyone? Did I bring enough?
Yes, oh, there's plenty.
I thought at the last minute I added more and I wasn't sure. I don't know about you, but I like to taste stuff before I buy it. Let's eat. Let's start with the first row, kind of go as fast as we can. Oh yes, we need to say a prayer. Do you want to say it?